And we are back, everybody. Welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast, audio and YouTube listeners. Hello, my name is Jake, and who are you?
I am Zan or Zane. Either or works.
Yeah, either one works. Welcome back, everybody. Each and every week, same time, same day, we break down the latest in gaming and esports news, so we hope you guys all enjoy. This time around, I'm going to start out a bit differently. Typically, we hop into our topics right away. I want to read off a few comments.
Okay.
From the last one, because we don't usually do this.
We're showing people some love?
Yeah, just 3 to 4 comments, Zan, to appreciate some people out there.
Yeah.
And really quickly. So first up, Hernan says this channel is so underrated. Thank you. I think we get that actually quite a bit, the underrated thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully one day, never mind, I was going to say maybe one day we'll be overrated, and that's okay too.
I think that's bad.
Is that bad? Okay.
I think it's bad to be overrated.
Anyway, from Atoll, I'm just going to call him Brett. This is a name. This channel is so professional. 1 mil subs coming soon. I don't know about how soon, but we appreciate you.
Yeah, next 5 minutes. Let's go.
And
Let's
then
hit it.
really quickly from David, fourth comment, hopefully Happy New Year's. Always look at good times. Thank you.
Yeah.
We will try our best to do so.
Yeah, definitely. Happy New Year's to all of you, too.
And I'm saving this one for you, Zan. I like this one the most. This is from Nia or Naya. I like this format, but Zan needs to get better at speaking into the mic, or you need to move the mic further to the left.
I'm sorry. I'm very soft-spoken. I'm working on it.
We've had so many runs where I look over and I see Zan talking to me, and he's like,
because I'm just talking to my friend Jake over here.
A foot from the mic, and I'm like, God dang it, this is going to be silent as ever. But we do appreciate you guys' comments. Are you ready to roll here, Zan?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's rewind it. This past week, here we go. All right, Zan, we've been bouncing back and forth categories for 30-plus episodes now. I think it's one of our best things to do is to give people two sides of the story. This one, certainly of my stories today, the most spicy, the most, I would say, explosive one. That's going to be around Ninja because we always need a title piece for the podcast, whether it's FaZe,
Optic. Throw his face in the thumbnail.
Nate shout out Ninja. So this time around, it will be Ninja. We're talking about his recent, very, very short clip. I'll give you the context, and then I'll bounce off you a question of future competition for YouTube. When it comes to being a video platform, future competition, is it possible? Ninja took to a very short clip a couple days back. By the time you guys watch, this is actually a week ago. And in his Fortnite squad at the time was, I think it was Dr. Lupo alongside Courage. Courage, recently signed to YouTube Gaming for streaming.
Yeah.
So a bit of a
touchy subject.
It's very touchy.
Yeah.
It's so funny because when Ninja moved to Mixer, he could say whatever he wanted about Twitch streamers. When you're a part of Twitch and you're a Twitch partner, you can't talk about Twitch partners in a negative light. So like the whole Alinity thing that they were never talking about. Once Ninja moved and he was in a call with the Twitch guys, he was talking about Alinity, and they were all like, stop. But I love how he has freedom to say these kind of things, but it was very weird to see. He pretty much said, to keep it short, he had heard rumors about potentially YouTube gaming ads being removed entirely. I think we've all known the monetization issues of YouTube, amongst many issues as well. Yep. And he also kind of made a small note of this is the time to strike for a competition or a competitor of YouTube. So what are your first thoughts when you hear that? I thought I was also very curious because Courage could obviously say nothing about it.
Yeah. I'm sure he was just silent.
He was I'm sure he's texting Ninja dude, stop. Why do you, God dang it, Ninja. Tyler, you do this every freaking stream.
He's like, bro, I know you already get paid. I'm still trying to collect that bag.
Bro, I'm not as free as you. Chill. But what are your first thoughts when you hear something like that?
Right off the bat, I think there's no way YouTube actually gets rid of all gaming ads entirely. I could see them limiting them to a certain extent, but I don't. There's no way they'll actually get rid of them all. There's too much money involved there.
And quickly to your point as well, I didn't even mention it to you, so I'm glad you said it. Courage in this clip in the background, he says there's no way that's happening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's too many cogs in the machine to even make that possible. And to address the main point. Competitors to YouTube, I think people have been saying there should be one for years now, years and years and years, and there are a couple have tried to pop up, but the problem always is it's expensive as heck to try and compete with YouTube.
Thank you for censoring yourself.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah,
you didn't have to do that.
It's
man.
2020. You know, trying to.
Let's go.
Be respectful to my speech.
Someone out there is gonna hate you for not even saying it.
I'm sure.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Zan, you know what you meant to say, but no. It's just super expensive. It's the majority of every community is already there. Everybody has a YouTube account. It's way too connected to Google and everything.
Yeah.
And I think what me and my team lead were talking about recently is what would be brilliant if Mixer decided to go this route is to just do everything YouTube does on top of what
I saw
they
a comment
have.
like that too today, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I instantly think, God, how much money? Obviously, they have a lot of money, but That's a great point to make. You know, I don't think it's even possible. Ironically enough, you look up the market share in terms of video content, it's very similar to what Twitch had in market share. 70+% in the streaming platform is what YouTube has in the video market. It's YouTube and Vimeo. Just like in streaming, it's Twitch and it's YouTube. So it's kind of funny when it comes to YouTube is very dominant across a lot of things.
You know what's even funnier? It's not even a competition between YouTube and Vimeo.
No,
YouTube is just
different content,
and then Vimeo's chilling over here for all the professionals.
And I wouldn't even say that's the relationship that when it comes to streaming, Twitch and YouTube have. YouTube actually has a chance in that field. Vimeo is never. They're never going to be the.
Yeah, they have no interest in that.
There's not a. You're not Vimeo. You're not a Vimeo content creator, albeit there are some, but it's just not the same.
Right.
I think it's a very interesting point to make, and I think it's also kind of the last point as well. I would like it. I think we've talked about it time and time again. Competition breeds success, and this kind of thing, and also it allows us a place we could double upload.
Oh, true.
Same video, 2 platforms,
and hopefully not get immediately demonetized.
Yeah.
Unlike half
I mean,
stuff.
we would love to take advantage of that too. I just think I think we're both in the same. For once, we're really agreeing here.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to happen anytime soon? I don't think so.
Absolutely not. The only way it happens, possibly, is because it would be super smart for either Twitch or Mixer to do it.
Yeah.
Because literally, like, everybody who has a Twitch channel also has a YouTube channel just because they can't make their own VOD content on Twitch, really.
Yeah.
Same with Mixer. So if they could just be like, hey, just keep all your stuff in our ecosystem instead of literally going to our
You just got to imagine, though, for exclusive video rights, no streaming platform has signed a new streamer and not given them the right to upload their videos on YouTube.
Yeah, because
that's what they all do.
They have to.
Like every Facebook, every Mixer streamer, they all still upload to YouTube. There's a reason for that. The money to go exclusive for video content would have to be ginormous. If you guys want an esports news channel to sign exclusively,
that's like, you'll get us at a
we know
bargain
one
too. We'll only ask for 6 figures. Most people will ask for 7. Probably.
Most people, like Ninja alone, would ask for 7. We might approach
if not
6.
8. Yeah, I think we could.
Oh my gosh, the future's going to be wild. I don't think anyone can compete anytime soon, and we agree for once.
Yeah. All right, Jake. So we're just back from brief winter break, and I try to take a break from gaming and work stuff more so than I usually do. Like normally, I keep an eye on news. Yeah,
you have not been around.
Yeah, I've kind of Yeah.
You need that though. You need a real reset.
Yeah,
it's been a strenuous year.
It's good to take a step back. So most of my topics this week are going to be stuff that I think people should be keeping an eye on in 2020.
All right.
It's kind of tying in with recent news stories, but mostly,
we'll
looking
go
to the
for
future. First of all, I'm going to make a bold claim that I don't know if it's that bold, but I think by the end of 2020, loot boxes will either altogether be banned in the UK or there will be legislation already in progress to that effect.
In the UK solely?
Very specifically in the UK. I think it'll take much longer anywhere else. I think in the UK, we're already basically there.
I think a bold statement would have been to say everywhere.
Everywhere is not. There's no way that happens.
Given the UK legislation we've already talked about, I think you're in the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Is there any backing as to why? Are you going to tie this into some stories?
Yeah. So earlier this week, we already, last year, we saw the UK Parliament said they believe loot boxes should be banned for any kids whatsoever. We had statements from their gambling commission that said technically they shouldn't be classified as gambling, but they still see it as very concerning. And so they're definitely kind of on the fence over there. It's banned. They're banned in the Netherlands and Belgium already. And, we've got a lot of moves in that direction. We've had several studies come out in the past year, and here's yet another one touching, very specifically talking to the youth, people ages 11 through 24. There was a mass study of over 1,000 people.
I'm still youthful. Sick.
Yeah.
Just barely.
We're in the range.
This is my last year or so in youth. All right, I'll enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Yeah, you gotta when you turn 25, it'll be
when I turn 25, I can actually start opening loot boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't apply to me anymore.
No, but anyway, this study was basically just taking a closer look at how exactly the youth actually feels about loot boxes, and if it's just older people who think they might be gambling, or if it's younger people as well who are seeing that correlation. And it turns out that 58% of all the people interviewed believe that loot boxes should definitely classify as a form of highly addictive gambling.
Do we know how many people were interviewed?
Over 1,000. I could throw out actual numbers, but it gets really granular. So I'm trying to keep it relatively surface level.
I would believe that. I would believe that, especially as of recent times. I think a lot more people are coming to be swayed the other way, especially the people that aren't actually monetarily benefiting from it.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I think a lot of the content you see creation-wise, and I come from the same field as well. You kind of over the past few years, you've seen the rise of these loot box channels and these case opening channels that do very well, and so I think a lot of kids a few years back, certainly we're like, that's crazy. They get to make money doing this.
Right,
Of course I
right.
like it. But now as more and more has been uncovered about the troubles of it, certainly I would say the opinion's been swaying.
Yeah, and they are also talking about skin betting very specifically.
Whew.
And that's where things might get a little touchy.
That's hairy.
Yeah, we might see a situation where within the next 5 years, skin betting sites entirely might just be removed.
I mean, they've already been undergoing trouble, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know it's been murky
The
waters.
transfer and trades of skins have definitely been hurt over the past year.
Yeah, and they very specifically, there was a whole section in the study.
That's for me, that's still a gray area, because when it comes to opening crates and cases and RNG boxes, that's a different thing. When it comes to betting, I don't know. Come on, give me something, Zan.
Yeah, the thing is with betting, it's like, how much of this is just an entry into gambling for super young people?
Yeah.
So I think if possible, they'll probably go more towards like better checks to make sure somebody is actually 18
of age,
as opposed to just like, click yes. Are you 18? Are you sure
submit
18?
your skins here. Oh, you want to gamble $240 on esports game?
Yeah.
In skins?
Yeah, like one additional layer of verification beyond that would be nice. But anyway, that's all I wanted to touch on there. This study was from the Royal Society for the Protection of Health in the UK. If you're interested, I highly suggest you go and read it.
Yeah, I think on closing points as well, I think you have some backing, especially when it comes to legislation and papers we've seen already about it. I think the growing majority of people out there are kind of getting a bit more tentative when it comes to this kind of thing. And then very lastly, the first study we talked about many months ago when it comes to the UK, that was all based around 2K and EA and a lot of the things that they've done wrong and very egregiously. And so I really do think there's going to be a crackdown. Will it be 2020? We'll find out this year.
Yeah.
All right, Xanifer. I'm going to present to you a list of points about the Overwatch League.
Ooh.
And you will then tell me your feelings about the future of said Overwatch League.
Before you say your points, my feeling is bad.
Okay. And I think at this point in time, I think it's fair. I think a lot of people are now joining the ranks of, okay, what is Overwatch League doing behind the scenes that we don't know about, structure-wise, the way they treat players, teams, etc., the strenuous scheduling of these events and having to host events as well. It's certainly had an impact. And so when it comes time for compiling my short list, and again, there's probably many other points you could make out there, we've seen close to a dozen top-tier pro players retire this year alone, or this past year alone. That's not including content creators. If you want to throw Defran, XQC, I know some people really don't want to count those. Siegel sparked it all off. That's not including any semi-pros or contenders players. That list is far-fetching.
That scene is barren.
You have 16 to 24-year-old kids very, very clearly seeing, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
And then they see their role models at the top tier of the scene say they can't do it after 2 years of the league being established. That's a big issue. So you have retirees, the contenders or feeder league, I guess you could call it. Teams are leaving that as well. So it makes you question the structure, the reward for an organization entering that. I believe NRG, Mayhem, Gladiators, and LGD, amongst others, have left contenders. If you don't have a feeder league, I don't know. If you don't have an academy, other leagues survive without it, but it's certainly a weird point to see organizations departing there. Now you have talent leaving. Yes, a few players are lucky enough to leave to become talent, but when you have your first ever talent that joined the league, first ever 2 years ago, are now picking it up and saying, hey, we don't really have, not word for word, but when they strike philosophical and creative differences with the team and they're leaving, it makes you wonder, okay, if they don't trust the long-term play of sticking it out with Overwatch, why should anyone else? And then I'll say lastly as well, most recently we've talked about this in the group chat a lot as well, hopefully videos coming soon, the strenuous schedule. These organizations have to field gigantic rosters. They've already paid a gigantic fee. Then they put on their own home events, and then they have to travel, especially for the players, but also to coordinate all that travel as an organization. That's got to be so stressful. I think the most recent one we saw was, I want to say, it was some Overwatch team breaking 75,000 miles traveled in a year.
Yeah, which is insane.
I mean, you think about the sheer number of miles they are traveling. That's got to be just, I mean, it's a full-time job, right? They know what they're signing up for. But I would say all four of those points are worrisome for me. And all of a sudden, we've jumped in this franchise league model, or at least one of them. And Overwatch was the first to say, hey, we want home and away venues. We're going to make it work. I don't know if it's going to work long term. So what are your thoughts when you see all this recent news about Overwatch League?
Well, at the end of the day, it just makes me think, it very strongly reminds me that this is an Activision Blizzard league. And I think that is the core of the reason why the Overwatch League is being run the way that it is. Because Activision Blizzard is very much a classic company. This is one of those companies that's, the executives are the type that grew up, like they're huge football people, huge like traditional sports people.
Which I will say, not too much blame. You know, it's tough to know what to base it off.
Yeah, of course.
To give credit where a little bit, but
yeah. But I just think I don't know that anybody was like, oh, this is the move for esports, specifically moving to the like home away game system.
Yeah.
Especially when so much of our stuff it's online. There's no actual good reason for it to have to be, oh, they are in the same room for every single game.
Yeah.
When you could just save everybody so much more money. You could probably make a good bit of money streaming, set up your own platform that way, and without having to put the players through so much stress. I think I see a lot of the times people mentioning that, oh, I know you guys are traveling a lot, but you're only working like X amount of weeks out of the year, X amount of months out of the year. You're only traveling for that period of time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think people got to take into account how much of a mental and physical toll that just the pure travel aspect takes, especially when it's constrained in a brief period of time. And you're like, okay, so this week, all right, I'm in LA. Okay, next week I'm in New York. Week after that, I'm in China. You know, then I'm going to London. And then you don't have any time to like actually breathe.
And I don't know if my contract's going to be here next year.
Yeah,
and even if it is, I sign a 1 or 2 year max. And then it's like, what do I do when I'm 22? It's,
right.
Obviously, a lot of esports have these issues, but when it comes to all of the issues being combined into one, Overwatch is certainly exhibiting those, I would say. And it's a really, really weird point to talk on when you compare the franchise models we have. Even Call of Duty League just announced that they're going to stray away from the a lot of the home venues.
Also an Activision Blizzard thing.
And it was a move made because these COD orgs already run Overwatch orgs, and they're like, we can't put on this many home, like we just can't coordinate all this and then travel with all these teams. You imagine you're a new staffer and all of a sudden you're coordinating travel for 10 plus Overwatch staff and crew and then also a COD team, and you're like, so-and-so's got to be at this airport, then this airport. I can't imagine.
Yeah, you'd have to roll up, you'd have to build an entire separate sub-company just to manage your travel.
It'd be like Home Alone with your Overwatch team. Someone's going to be left behind, missing the flights, and then that's just, I can't imagine.
I remember when the Overwatch League was first starting, there were already concerns about how the league wanted people to have their own home stadiums. They're like, that's a lot. That's a huge investment.
Huge.
That's already on top of like the league entry fees.
Yeah,
that wasn't counting.
That wasn't included.
That's like, So you're paying. I don't know what the number was exactly.
I think it was. I want to say 30 to 40 million, around the ballpark.
They're paying a lot of money just to get your foot in the door, and then on top of that, you got to pay like another 50, 100 mil or something
to find a venue.
Yeah, find a venue, get established in the venue, build a space. Housing.
It worries me, man.
Yeah.
It really worries me now with this outlook of, if Overwatch League is failing, if it is, and if it does sometime soon, first of all, how the heck can COD compete if Overwatch is failing?
Well, it can't is the answer.
And then second of all, where do we go if they do fail? Like this could be a huge setback.
To that point, I'm glad that the games that we're seeing this problem with are very specifically Overwatch and Call of Duty. Because I think Overwatch as a video game itself, not necessarily as an esport, but I think Overwatch as a concept is strong enough to survive the Overwatch League collapsing in its current state, right? I think if, let's say by the end of 2021 or whatever, Activision Blizzard is like, okay, the Overwatch League really isn't working out. Teams they're leaving. We see more pros leave and stuff. I think they could do okay if they restructured entirely. If they went back to like a more like CSGO model or something.
Or just a more tournament model.
Yeah, or something closer to the way League of Legends runs.
So you would think Overwatch League will stick around, just reformat, restructure?
Yeah, and I think Call of Duty as a brand is strong enough to survive the collapse of the Call of Duty League, which is, it's seeing more and more likely. Like constantly with how like so many concerning things back to back come out and nothing positive. I've not heard a single positive thing about the Call of Duty League.
Not much. We had some recent news, but they restructured.
Yeah, but that's not good. That's not good news.
It's good news for players and community.
Yeah, it's good news for the community.
But it's still worrisome if you think about.
It's a red flag.
We're 3 weeks away from the start of the season, and we're still changing the format.
It's great for the players, great for the community. It's a huge red flag for the actual competitive league.
I would totally agree with you there. I don't know. This is going to be a weird one breaking down. We talk about the new year all the time, but 2020 is going to bring some super interesting things. Overwatch League is definitely going to be one of them, and we'll see how it does.
Okay, Jake. So next thing I want to talk about is something we talked about a couple times over the course of 2019. I keep having to stop myself from saying this year.
I've been having that struggle, and it's so weird that it's 2020.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's so freaking.
Esports talk has been around for 2 decades, guys. Let's go.
Oh my gosh,
2 decades strong.
Yo, that's actually.
Yeah.
Why are we just now figuring this out? Our 4th story in.
Yeah, bro.
That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. But anyway, I want to talk about Esport. It's tournament platforms. like homegrown, like tournament websites, basically.
Tournament websites.
Yeah, yeah.
What's an example of a tournament website to you?
Ooh, well, I mean, the high school Juked, I think, is a good one.
Juked? Okay, I've heard about Juked.
Stuff like that.
So you don't mean tournament organizers?
No. I mean, like, just a random, like a third-party tournament site where people just go, oh, I want to compete in a Call of Duty tournament.
Oh,
win,
you mean like,
whatever.
yeah, so like wagers and like 10 mans, kind of like that.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Ah,
right?
okay. Not something we hear too much about. It's more like the semi-tier pro guys who do the wagers and such, and definitely not the guys like me.
No, not necessarily amateurs.
Those are the guys that try and take on those websites and lose money to pro players.
Oh yeah, absolutely, just get like smurfed.
But yeah, I've heard of a few.
I mean, there's so many. That industry is super oversaturated. We're gonna see a lot of those companies close in the next year.
For sure,
absolutely. But I heard about one that actually really interested me because it's perfect for people like you and me, actually.
They all preach that.
No, well, this one.
Tell me about this one.
This one seems a little bit more up our alley. Yeah, okay, so it's called lowkey.gg. I don't like it just because I use that word like 20 times per day.
If only people knew, though. If our team was in this room right now, for anyone who's listening, this guy says key, anything, more than any.
Yeah, high key,
low key more than anybody. So the fact that you just brought up lowkey.gg is the most ironic thing. But
this is my secret.
I will let you.
This
is your side business.
So no, not really, but like no. But anyway, it's built around providing like a chill tournament platform.
Sorry.
No, yeah, I think in my notes, I think I wrote, I swear I'm not interested just because I used the word. But no, so they kind of want to run leagues like any business company, like a company like ours, might run like a company basketball team or a company baseball team, just like on the side, just like,
I instantly just tried to picture any of us trying to play any sport together.
Yeah, not our. Well, we could play Jenga. Our office gets real serious.
That's about
Jenga.
it. Bags and Jenga. But anyway, how do they propose to do this at a low key level?
It's very specifically aimed at people who already have a full-time job. You have to have a full-time job.
What the frick are we talking about?
Yeah, right.
Yo, what?
Yo, but I actually like that aspect.
I like that already, but what?
Yeah. You have to be older than 18 to compete.
F you little teenagers who are just gunning people as we grow up. We've seen, sorry. Anyway, I keep on, continue. Sorry. It's a very interesting story to me.
They schedule things out. So, you play one game for 1 hour per week. So, and then make it so it works with everybody's schedules. It coordinates everybody's lives together. Got a really nice Discord bot that collects all the people playing together, makes it nice and easy to connect. And all of your user accounts, it has to be your actual name, actual picture, actual details to keep the environment so everybody actually knows who they're playing with.
Yeah.
So it keeps the toxicity down because
it's your actual person.
Yeah,
it's you.
And it's vaguely connected to your business and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so not only do I see this as hey, personally, I know we're both pretty busy guys. It's hard to consistently play games every week.
For sure.
And something like this would be a really good way to find other people who are actually business professionals who are gaming.
Yeah.
And make connections with them. I know years ago people were talking about gaming being the new golf for business meetings.
I hope so.
Yeah, and stuff like this could
golf, so maybe I'll get this.
Yeah.
So what's the overall concept? Are you wagering? Are you just trying to find people to play with?
You're just playing in a league, as far as I can tell.
Are there cash prizes? Are there?
Don't know per se. This is their first season.
Do you have user data?
Very roughly. I know there's about 100 people registered to sign up right now, but I do know that
100 people.
Out of those people,
this website's legit low key.
And out of these people, they've got reps from Google, Apple, Robinhood, and Twitch. All actual professional companies. So it seems like the tech sector is kind of already on board with what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
I like the concept.
Yeah.
I know that we've seen plenty of these kind of concepts that are you can't be pro, you cannot be semi-pro. You have to actually be legitimate. Even isn't amateur? Isn't that even a distinguished level?
I think it's
above
supposed
us?
to check. Yeah.
So I've definitely seen plenty of websites try and cross-check that kind of stuff. The fact that they make you enter your job is weird. But it's a weird concept. And I think we've seen a lot of great concepts, though, unfortunately not make it through this.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would love to see it kind of take off.
Yeah, well, they starting the first season now, so I'll be keeping an eye.
Heck yeah, do it.
Does anything interesting.
Because we definitely seen, oh my gosh, when you said oversaturation, when it comes to skin, any game with a skin that you can bet has seen such an influx of these kind of things of, match up against so-and-so, and they're just flooded with cheaters or people that are obviously too good.
Yeah.
Because if anyone's out there wants to take advantage of these kind of systems to make a quick buck, they're going to. So best of luck to lowkey.gg. Hopefully not going to be so low-key after a while.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, Zan, something we don't get to talk about often enough because we're stretched pretty thin around here.
Oh, yeah. Constantly busy.
It's something. And we like being busy, though.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to bounce something off you for, I would say, an underrated esport. I think what's going to be the next big esport. It's already growing as is. I think you already know what I'm talking about, but I'll give it to you just in case. I think Rocket League is going to be the next big esport.
Oh, absolutely. 100% agree.
And I think we got a variety of reasons, and I think you'll mention some that I don't think I even could. I think we agree on a lot of these points just based off, let's get to the guts of it. The viewership alone has steadily been increasing ever since Season 1. I think Season 3 spiked, but ever since Season 5, 6, 7, 8, you see the progression of viewership alone when it comes time for RLCS. That's the top league in Rocket League. The viewership is there. Player base usually follows suit. We have definitely seen, I would say, a great system set up for success. They don't oversaturate with events. I think DreamHack is really the most notable TO outside of the Rival Series and Championship Series. I like how closely knit they keep it to a set schedule every single year. You go and you have your Rival Series promotions. Sometimes those teams jump up. Sometimes Championship Series teams go down. And then once RLCS season starts, it's a fast handful of weeks, just over a handful of weeks. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 grand final, playoffs, grand finals, boom. It's a great, simple system, and I think it's also on top of that a great way as well. They have their item shop now being owned by Epic Games. It's a great reward for players now that bounce back a little bit. On top of that, not only viewership, not only all these things, we hear about potential franchise league coming to it. Honestly, in terms of watchability, viewability, playability, and on top of that, one point that I think you were going to mention very lastly, and I'm going to steal it from you.
Go for it.
Is when it comes time for family-friendly games out there and potentially being involved with Olympic stuff or future more traditional media.
Yeah, I was definitely going to mention that.
Rocket League fits that picture.
Absolutely.
And so I seriously do think, and we've been Rocket League viewers, especially when it came to like a year and a half back when we had more time to cover content and hopefully get more into it. I just think they're really checking almost all the boxes as to being the next big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think if out of all the sports games, Rocket League is the only one that maintains a consistently high level of quality year over year. They very clearly, these are actual like developers with like a capital D. Where NBA 2K, problems like crazy. Madden, problems like crazy.
FIFA.
Like these are the games that are starting like legislation against games like them because they're just like bad for no reason.
A great point to make is these are the games that connect us to traditional sports and that side of things. These are the games that spark interest when they see, oh, Rocket League, kind of like football or soccer, whatever you would call it. And like you mentioned, Madden and 2K and whatever it might be. And FIFA and the like. And so when a game actually does it right and gives a good connection, traditional esports, and we've certainly seen more football clubs now enter Rocket League as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great crossover. And I don't know. I'm very excited to see where they go.
Yeah, so am I. You know what's wild? I always forget to mention this, but like, because I didn't realize until maybe a year or two after Rocket League was out, but I played it when it was supersonic acrobatic hyper-powered battle cars or whatever.
What the heck?
Yeah, it had a different name, same dev.
The heck is that tongue twister?
Yeah, it's a long name. But no, yeah, it was like that. It was like a much smaller game, but always crazy fun. They've always had a really strong base, and it's amazing to see the devs having come all this way to being like such a successful product across the board. And I think if nothing else, like, yeah, they can definitely bridge the gap between the standard esports player and the traditional sports player.
Yeah.
Because I think the average esports viewer is not going to be even tangentially interested in watching, oh, NBA 2K is having an esports thing? Yeah, I'll pop in.
Oh, sick.
No, yeah, no. They're going to be like, well, I mean.
And I think that does separate a little bit as well. When it comes time for thinking of like Madden finals or big events or 2K finals and big events or the like, I think I definitely reference like when it comes time for the biggest event of an esport to come around that year, if you can actually just step in, understand, and actually enjoy. For me personally, this is my opinion, when it comes to like Overwatch grand finals, I'm not really tuning in. I don't have even at the biggest event of their year, I'm not very interested yet. Maybe I'll flip over eventually. League of Legends Worlds, I watch. CS:GO Majors, I watch. Rocket League, when it comes to RLCS grand finals and playoffs, the entire events of several days I watch, because when it comes time for the culmination of the biggest event of that esport, when it comes to Rocket League, it's always enjoyable. They do a great job.
That community is crazy passionate.
Crazy passionate. And that's why whenever we post a Rocket League video, people are like, God, some people, not everyone, are like, God, I wish you guys could do more Rocket League content. And we're like, we wish we could too.
Yeah.
There needs more our drama a little bit. But I'm glad we can both agree again.
Yeah,
a
look
second
at that.
time throughout
Look at
this.
that.
They are definitely checking so many boxes, and I'm so excited to see where they go.
To the point you made earlier about watching like certain events as opposed to others, I think Rocket League, out of all the esports, is probably the most easily approachable. Like a normal person could drop in and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But like Overwatch changes like every 6 months.
I mean, and League of Legends too.
Yeah.
I think CS:GO is definitely very easy to understand. Like,
yeah, but it's also like shooting people dead.
Yeah, so it's not family friendly. But I think you're right when it comes to the crossover of family friendly and also you can just understand right away.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very right now. It's very small compared to CS:GO majors or League of Legends worlds. But the viewership is climbing, and I can't wait to see once it actually breaks over that hump, that hill, and hopefully it continues to grow as well. And we'll see pretty soon here if with this growth, Rocket League also chooses to franchise or not.
Hopefully not.
It's a different topic for a different day.
So, Jake, one thing, my last thing that I think is probably the most important for people to keep an eye out for in 2020, actually, is Amazon and their continual push. And they want to be a game development company so bad.
I think they want to be in esports and gaming in general.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just glad you
Absolutely.
didn't say Stadia to end this one. Although we are on the lookout for 2020 Stadia and its competition.
My Stadia is still going strong. It's still a great platform. I'm still very much enjoying it.
But we'll leave it alone for now. We don't want to ruffle any
That can stay in the
feathers.
corner. Yeah.
But Amazon,
I'm having fun.
This is certainly going to be a curious thing because it only helps us. But what do you think they got underway for us?
Yeah, so years and years back, Amazon made their own game studios. I think they just called it Amazon Game Studios or whatever, right? They bought out a couple companies. They started making games, right? And they very specifically started working on 3 titles. And they're like, these 3 titles, we want them to be esports. I think they started working on them in 2016 with their own game engine called Lumberyard and everything, right?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
This is stuff I didn't know about.
No, yeah, and I don't think anybody's talking about it really yet.
I don't think so.
I only vaguely remembered this from like reading about it like when they did it. And because I cared about one of the devs and I was sad they were gone. But
again.
Yeah.
We'll leave that behind.
Yeah. But anyway, so Breakaway, Crucible, and New World were the name of the 3 games.
Okay.
Breakaway was already in development, just got canceled in 2018, actually. It was playable. A couple esports personalities gave it a try, and we're like, oh, that's okay. But at the end of the day, it just didn't pan out, so they canceled it. But what is really interesting is early in 2019, they had a company restructuring of their game studios where, a lot of people got laid off, unfortunately. Hate to see it, but it happens,
Yep.
And Amazon kind of took a second to pare down and realize what's wrong here. And according to some of the people who left the company, they were like, yeah, the main issue was their game engine called Lumberyard. They were like, yeah, it's just not good. It's not doing what we need it to.
Pretty important base structure.
They described it as driving a train while the tracks were still being laid.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Dramatic.
Yeah, a little bit. But hey, I could see it happening. But anyway, the good news there is that Amazon is aware that, hey, Lumberyard isn't great. And they've given their internal studios permission to use other game engines and make like actual games off of fully functional engines and have them look good. And just a month ago or 2, at the Game Awards 2019, we saw the first trailer for one of Amazon's games, New World.
I, for some reason, have not heard about this. Amazon being a potential game developer, and I don't know why I haven't until now.
Because it's been going real bad. So they haven't been advertising it at all.
How did New World look?
I mean, it was just a cinematic trailer, so we really don't know.
Do we know what style of game it's going to be?
Theoretically, like an MMORPG.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have I heard about this? Amazon enters with MMO. I feel like I've heard storylines of that, but it was probably a long time ago.
Yeah, it's probably a good, because they said New World was going to be an MMO like back in 2016 when they first announced it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then New World disappeared. Breakaway took the forefront, and that's.
So would you consider this the first title since a kind of not really a relaunch, but since they've kind of come back up? And so are they really kind of scrapping everything else and hey, this is our first?
Yeah, they put
of
out
this decade.
They put out like of 2020, it definitely will be. But they put out like 1 or 2 like tiny, really not good games through their game studios just to put out something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this will be their first AAA, fully plenty of time in the oven. We're gonna make sure it's a good game.
Dang. Now I got to look at this trailer as well. Do we know a release date at all?
Not at all. Not even vaguely.
So likely would it be this year?
Probably not. I don't know. I don't know how far along they are in development. I don't think very far. I think we'll be surprised to see it by like 2021. 2022 would be a better date in my mind.
I think anyone would be interested in a gigantic company like Amazon releasing an MMO. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, and they very specifically, when they announced all 3 of these titles, they're like, we want all 3 of these to be esports games.
Esports?
Yeah.
Do they know what MMOs are? All those few WoW watchers, right? WoW is not an esport to many out there, okay? To some it is, but not to me. That's interesting take. Yeah. And that really does make me excited, though, because I think you announce any Titan like that, like you announce any big gaming company, or especially when it comes to an Amazon powerhouse, if you announce they got a game, especially in a starvation mode for MMOs, I'm going to probably try it.
Plus, Amazon owns Twitch, so they could just promote the heck out of this everywhere.
You almost have to try it out, and then you got to think about, what kind of like marketplace system, economic system are they going to to have? Obviously, they know their economics. It's like, oh, this is going to be
probably better than any other developer out there.
It's going to be juicy.
Yeah, and the last thing on this, the other game, the 3rd game of the trio, is still underway. They're still working on it. It's called Crucible.
Okay.
And from what I could glean, it's an interesting name. It's going to be like a 3rd-person action game that kind of might be like a pared-down battle royale. Like the vibe I was getting from all the ways they've described it is like, as opposed to like, oh, we're throwing 100 people in an arena, maybe it'll be more like a free for all, like maybe 25 people thing.
I don't know, man. I think I'm past the whole BR
thing.
See. I think a lot of us are.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's actually going to be like a battle royale. I think it'll be something a little bit more fleshed out.
That makes sense, though. If it's called Crucible, it definitely involves some sort of, obviously, player killing.
Yeah, it's some sort of arena thing for sure. But
the MMO's got me psyched, though, and so does Amazon. One last point: the reason why Crucible, I don't think it's going to work out. I'm stiff-minded. I think it was like 6 to 8 years ago, RuneScape had an update. It was a Crucible update. It was god awful.
Just terrible.
It was a PvP system though, so that's instinctively in my back of my head. I'm like, that can't. But hey, if any tens and tens of hundreds of billions dollar company gets in, you got my interest peaked. Yeah. And so I'm super, super excited to see if they can release an MMO.
Fingers crossed.
And then if they do, who else is in? Riot?
Yeah.
Epic? Anyone?
Oh, Riot probably.
Riot has one underway.
Yeah, they're working on one, right? I think
that's what everyone thinks. But then Mark's kind of Mark Merrill's messing with people. So either way, Amazon Esports. I'll leave this on one point. I applied 2 years ago to an Amazon gaming esports job, and I didn't get an email back.
Probably for the best, to be honest. I mean, let's be real. They've been like a big yikes for the past like 3 or 4 years.
We'll see. We'll see who comes out on top. All right, with the closing of the Esports Rewind podcast, Zan, give him the speech. Also, thank you guys for watching, by the way. It's a new year, and we're still here, so that's always good. Well, give him the spiel, Zane.
You know, right at the top, I'll reiterate what Jake just said. Thank you all for watching. Hope you'll stay watching in 2020. We're going to keep improving, getting better for all y'all. As always, if you would like to listen to the Esports Rewind on the go, on your mobile device, anywhere out there, realistically speaking, we are on iTunes and Spotify at the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. That's PREEDICTION. That's the move. Tons of other great esports and gaming podcasts there as well. So if you're interested, feel free to check them out. If you're an audio listener, we appreciate you very much. Thank you for joining us. You can also find us on YouTube at Esports Talk. Look us up, Esports Talk, on all social media. We post a lot on Twitter. We're posting more on Instagram every single day, doing a lot there.
You got this down, bro.
Yeah. Got a voice for radio. So.
Do you want to switch it up? Want to go to radio?
Yeah. We'll hit up NPR.
Yes.
Be like,
new field for us. Also, of course, the YouTube channel. That's what you guys are probably watching on, if not on the Prediction Podcast Network. We do appreciate you guys every single week. The podcast, as of late, had some solid numbers out there. We do appreciate you guys all watching and listening. Until next time, though.
Yeah, don't forget to add a comment. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, drop a comment. DMs especially, guys. We do appreciate all the stories you send us as well. Until next time, same day, every single week. It's been me and Zane on the Esports Rewind podcast. Until next time, take care, folks.
Thanks for watching.
I love you.